This album is The Awakening by the Ahmad Jamal Trio from 1970, and the song I Love Music was sampled by two different legendary producers. One instance of this sample is from the song Me or the Papes by Jeru The Damaja, which was produced by DJ Premier, and the other is The World Is Yours by Nas, which was produced by Pete Rock. Now, normally I'm not one for comparing apples to oranges, but both of these songs sample the same song, so it's really like comparing apples to apples. Today, we're putting these two beats head to head, diving into the production, the producers, the story of the original sample, and determining who did it best. Whose beat will reign supreme? We'll recreate these two beats, but won't look at any other songs that sample this Ahmad Jamal album, and I promise there is no other larger lesson or inspiration coming at the end. You know me, no twists or surprises along the way. Get out of here, get out surprising connections, get out of here emotional endings. This is a beat battle, plain and simple. So first up, here's DJ Premier's beat for the song Me or the Papes by Jeru The Damaja. Just realized I need to change my setup. Give me 1 second. DJ Premier has sampled the song I Love Music off of this Ahmad Jamal album, and specifically right around the 540 mark. Check out this original sample. How I have this laid out is this top yellow track. This is the Jeru The Damaja song, which DJ Premier produced. And then below it, this grayed out track, this is I Love Music by Ahmad Jamal. Now, if we zoom out, and then there we go, zoom in on just this section right here. This orange highlighted part, this is the part that Premier has sampled. So let's play just the sample. Just that much right there. So you can see the waveform right here, and I've got all these different chops through here. And what's interesting is that there's actually two tracks, because the piano's not in at the beginning, but there's bass. And it's this same chopped part, but he's splitting it between isolating just the bass stuff and isolating the piano. So it's just this much that's sampled, but he's chopped each of these individual notes and replayed them to make something new. Check this out. And underneath that, there's bass. I'm using the same exact chops. I'm just rolling off all the highs, so we're only hearing the low end. A signature of DJ Premier is his drums. I'm gonna replay them, so you're gonna go, that doesn't quite sound like DJ Premier. And you're right, because nobody chops drums like Primo. So here's the drums and the bass. What we're missing, of course, is the cash register sound effect. But let's replay those piano chops on top. Here we go. This is a great beat and undeniably DJ Premier. Now, let's take this same song, I Love Music by Ahmad Jamal, and see what Pete Rock did with it. Pete Rock took this same song and made The World Is Yours by Nas off of the classic album Illmatic. I mean, this is one of the most famous hip-hop songs of all time, so already Pete's got a little advantage. But we're not here to talk about the impact of the song, just purely the beat itself. The sample for this song comes a little earlier, just before 5 minutes. So same thing, the yellow track up top, this is The World Is Yours. The grayed out section, this is I Love Music by Ahmad Jamal. And this orange highlighted section, this, let's solo this and take a listen to it. So here's the sampled part. What Pete Rock has done is he's cutting the sample in on beat 2. So here's beat 1. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's the chop right there. But this is the main loop of the song. This starting at beat 2, but this loop going for these 2 bars. For the drums, this is Dance Girl by the Rim Shots. Here's the beginning. Just that much right there, and then slow that down and repeat that, and then add another kick in, and this is what we get. This purple section right here. Now, the other thing is, we have this kind of squeak sound that happens specifically on the chorus, the hook, with the snare happening, right? On beats 2 and 4. And what that is a song by Jimmy Gordon and his Jazz and Pops band. And here is that original sample. This is the grayed out part right here. And then when we get to the red, that is the sample. So here we go. Just that right there, that little squeak. That high note, I don't know what that is. I don't have perfect pitch. Drop in the comments if you know what it is. But that is mixed in there with the snare. So Now we've got our piano loop here. We've got our drums on loop here. We've got our squeaking sax horn on top. And yeah, let's play it and hear what it sounds like. So while DJ Premier did more chops to the sample, Pete Rock layered other stuff in there. Not to mention that's him and Nas both singing the hook and Pete scratching the "It's Yours." Now we have a lot more to cover with comparing these two beats, but I think it's incredible how two different producers can hear one jazz piano song and sample it to make completely different things. If you're looking for jazz records to sample in your own productions, you should check out TrackLib. They're sponsoring this video, so let me show you how it works. And then they just announced something huge. TrackLib is an online record store specifically for sampling. It's got a huge catalog, over 100,000 songs and multi-tracks. There's a 100% guarantee of fast, easy clearance, and they just announced they're officially dropping sample clearance fees. So if you subscribe to TrackLib, you can clear samples without paying anything more. Let me search jazz piano and I'll sort by old releases here. Let's see. This is 1975. Got that electric piano. I'm super into this. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use one of my credits and download this. And now when I'm finished with this and I want to release it, there's now no additional fee. To get started yourself, click the link in the description. You'll get a free 3-day trial and 15 free downloads. So even though both of these songs by DJ Premier and Pete Rock technically sample the same song, both producers have used different techniques. DJ Premier chopped things up a bit more, while Pete Rock incorporated a few more layers of samples. Both of these beats are so good and sound like they're from each of these producers. You know what this means, don't you? We have to do round 2. Fortunately, we don't have to stray far to find another song that both of these producers sampled. In fact, we're gonna go back just one track on this same album to the opening song, The Awakening. This song was sampled first by DJ Premier in 1989 for the Gang Starr song DJ Premier in Deep Concentration. This is a much shorter sample, just the opening few notes of the Ahmad Jamal song. Here's the original sample from Ahmad Jamal's The Awakening. I'm gonna slow that down. It's just those. This is as low as I can go on the turntable. Here's what Premier did with it. The electric piano pad underneath is a different sample. So as far as Ahmad Jamal goes, it's a very short sample, just those few piano notes. But this is the first known sample of not just this song, but any song on this Ahmad Jamal album. So Primo's getting a few bonus points this round. But Pete Rock also sampled this same song, The Awakening, for the song It's On You by Pete Rock and CL Smooth from 1994. And here's the thing, with this one, Pete Rock has chopped them a little more to change the timing. Here's the original sample a little later in the song. Listen for the piano chords. I'm gonna slow it down so we pitch it down. Right? Now, he's changing the timing of these, but I'm gonna isolate just the piano chords and take out the drums. It's imperfect, but listen for it. You'll hear those same chords in there. Let me add the drums. Right? Now, there are other samples layered in here, including another Ahmad Jamal sample. So let's reverse engineer this. Let's start with the Pete Rock song, then I'll show you the slowed down sample, and then we'll pick it back up to the original Ahmad Jamal song. Here's the end of It's On You. Hear those piano chords? Here, let me play them again for you right here. That's Ahmad Jamal right there. Let's pick up the tempo. Right? This is from Poinciana from the 1958 album Live at the Pershing. Now, this is a famous Ahmad Jamal song, especially among jazz people. So much so that if you tell a jazz drummer to play a Poinciana groove, they're gonna play this. We are neck and neck in this beat competition. I mean, these producers are doing crazy things, and these samples are amazing. I gotta say, Ahmad impresses me. Oh, that's another contender in this battle. J Dilla also sampled this same song on the track Ahmad Impresses Me. Here's that one. So we started with Primo and Pete Rock with the sample of I Love Music by Ahmad Jamal, looked at The Awakening with both producers plus Dilla, but the truth is there are many more instances of this record being sampled. So many. So let's pause our beat battle and answer the question, why is this album sampled so many times throughout hip-hop? Ahmad Jamal is a great jazz pianist who, well, I mean, he's not quite a household name. If you love jazz or if you love these songs that have sampled him, you probably know who he is. But he's not as recognizable as someone like Bill Evans or Herbie Hancock or Charlie Parker or, I don't know, Miles Davis. Oh, speaking of Miles Davis, here's what he had to say about Ahmad Jamal. I loved his lyricism on piano, the way he played and the spacing he used in the ensemble voicings of his groups. I have always thought Ahmad Jamal was a great piano player who never got the recognition he deserved. That quote is from Miles Davis's autobiography, and you will never guess what year that book came out. What year was it that Miles Davis said Ahmad Jamal never got the recognition he deserved? I'll give you a second to think about it. This album, The Awakening, comes right at a transition in Ahmad Jamal's career. He plays piano on this album, but after this began experimenting with the electric piano. This album sees him using more dynamics, these gorgeous phrases, and a huge sound, even though it's just a jazz trio with bass and drums. The most well-known individual sample from this album is probably when Pete Rock sampled I Love Music for The World Is Yours. And while Ahmad Jamal did write 2 songs on this album, including The Awakening, he didn't write I Love Music, but he was the first to record it. I Love Music was written by Hale Smith with lyrics by Emil Boyd. Yes, there are actually lyrics to this song. The Ahmad Jamal version, which is the first recording of this song, doesn't include lyrics, but there are other versions that do. The words start, "Music for the sake of music satisfies my hunger, and beauty for the sake of beauty pacifies my soul. Yet I often have a wistful feeling, sitting close beside you, for all the things I love are you and nothing more." Considering Ahmad Jamal was the first person to record this song, he certainly knew these lyrics and put some of that idea in his performance. If you haven't ever listened to Ahmad Jamal's recording of I Love Music all the way through, you need to. Listening to this song after knowing these lyrics changes it for me completely. If you've never listened to jazz, there's a common structure to it. You play the head, that's the melody, then the band keeps playing through the chord changes while someone takes a solo over those same chords. Solos pass around and you keep repeating the chords, and then eventually you come back to the head. Somebody plays the melody again and then you end the song. Of course, there's a million variations of this, but this is jazz at its most straightforward. One thing about The Awakening is it doesn't do that. It has much more improvisation on it. On I Love Music, the bass and drums don't even come in until halfway into the track. And even when they do, it meanders back and forth and doesn't necessarily follow an expected form. Both the DJ Premier and Pete Rock samples we looked at the beginning are from later in the song when the bass and drums are in. This section has more consistent time to it, so it's easier to grab a sample. But because it's improvised jazz piano, there are a ton of opportunities to grab fresh piano melodies on this song, as well as throughout the whole album. This makes it ripe for sampling. So, have you figured out when Miles Davis's biography was published? Some of you are screaming at your phone right now, so yeah, let's do it. Miles Davis said that Ahmad Jamal never got the recognition he deserved in 1989, the same year that DJ Premier sampled this record for the first time. All in all, this record has been sampled over 120 times, with many more samples from the rest of Ahmad Jamal's discography. Here are some other samples you may know from this album. The song Dolphin Dance, which was originally written by Herbie Hancock but performed by the Ahmad Jamal Trio, was sampled in Common's song Resurrection by producer No ID. So here's the original piano sample. We're gonna pitch it up, just that much, right? Come on. Madlib also sampled this song, as did Large Professor. You're My Everything, another song on this album, was sampled by Pete Rock again, as well as modern artists like Knowledge and Joey Badass, who, by the way, also sampled some of those other songs that we've already talked about. This Ahmad Jamal album started out as a great album to pull samples from, and has become a go-to album for jazz piano samples. Not only because of the gorgeous improvised melodies in it, but also because of the now 35-year history of sampling this album. This album has become part of the hip-hop production dictionary. And the same year that Miles Davis said Ahmad Jamal never got the recognition he deserved, that's the year that this all began. Come on. That's incredible. Alright, get in here, Unexpected Connections. You too emotional ending. This video started out as a beat battle between two legends, but we've gone so far down the rabbit hole. Sure, it's like comparing apples to apples, but there are over 120 other apples. The winner of this beat battle is, I don't know, just music in general. I know that answer feels like I'm Rob Lowe wearing an NFL hat at the NFC Championship game, but hear me out. DJ Premier and Pete Rock, they're incredible hip-hop producers, not because they listened to a bunch of hip-hop. In this case, it's because they both love jazz, and they love it enough to actually listen deep into the song. Feel the feeling along with Ahmad Jamal. Sample it, flip it, make it their own, and create some new music that we happen to call hip-hop. It's all music. Ahmad Jamal plays an instrumental version of a song with lyrics. Pete Rock samples it one way, Primo another, and we have 3 new songs based on that original vocal song, I Love Music. They're all different, and they're all incredible in their own way. You should go listen to music outside of your favorite genre. If you end up sampling it, cool. If you hear another sample from a song you know, great. But you also just might end up with a new favorite artist or genre that will satisfy your hunger and pacify your soul. Music for the sake of music. Beauty for the sake of beauty. DJ Premier and Pete Rock are 2 of the greatest producers in music history. And normally I point to another video at the end here, but this is another choose your own adventure. To dive into Primo's work on the Gang Starr song Mass Appeal, click here. To get into Pete Rock's work on the song They Reminisce Over You, click here.